welcome to Cricbuzz Live. I'm Gaurav Kapur. I might look all bright and chirpy, but inside I'm crying because India has lost the first match of this three-match one-day series. And of course, for Australia, it was all about a boy called Ajay who did चार Indian batsmen को bye-bye. I have Ajay, Jadeja and Zaheer here with me. See, I'm trying to uplift the mood. है ना? थोड़ा मूड थोड़ा अच्छा हो जाए क्योंकि अभी
आदत नहीं रही है
आदत that's the problem. In fact, even Australians are not knowing how to celebrate because with 3 wins in the last 22 matches, they're saying हमें भी आदत नहीं रही जीतने की.
उनको
क्या
बात
करते हैं,
बात
क्या
तो
करते
सही
हैं?
है, बात तो सही है.
बिल्कुल सही है.
जीतने की भी आदत डालनी पड़ती है.
बिल्कुल.
और जिस तरीके से मुझे लगता है कि इंडियन टीम को भी आदत पड़ी है अभी जीतने की. वो कहीं ना कहीं उसी नजरिए से भी हम सोच रहे थे कि हो सकता है आज जब तक रोहित शर्मा वहां पे बैटिंग कर रहे थे मैच जीत सकते थे.
But of course, Rohit needs somebody else with him, and he had Dhoni with him for a long time. But then after that, not much support from, or not a big partnership with either DK or Jadeja, and India needed that for the win.
Yeah, it does get difficult. I mean, they try and put a partnership together. Although, the run rate had gone a little beyond. I personally thought कि थोड़ा सा मुश्किल हो गया था वहाँ पे. फिर उसके बाद धोनी के आउट होने के बाद तो फिर चांस ही नहीं बचा था क्योंकि दोनों प्लेयर हो ना जब रोहित और सिंह धोनी दोनों खेल रहे हो 50 पे और 80 पे तो वो 8-10 रन की जो एवरेज है फिर उतनी देर मेंटेन करना आसान होता है. बट दिनेश कार्तिक रविंद्र जब तक आए it was impossible from that
too
stage.
big a mountain to climb. But the good thing is that Rohit Sharma got his 22nd one-day international century. And of course, when Rohit really gets going, towards the end, he was looking like, obviously you bat through the innings, you fielded through 50 overs, it's bound to tire you out a little bit, right? Because Sydney is not a cool city. Like, it's hot.
A bit like
it's
Mumbai.
Proper
Hot,
summer there. It's
hot
sapping,
and
it's humid.
Well, that's right. But Rohit Sharma's innings was just fantastic. I think, he took the responsibility which we all know what kind of damage he can do, and he was certainly in that position. What he needed was some support, which was not there. I think once after MS's wicket, the next wicket, which was the crucial wicket, was Dinesh Karthik. So he was, and by then net run rate, required run rate had already gone to about 9.5, 10, close to 10. So they needed to take their risk. So in the process, Dinesh Karthik got out at that stage, and then the onus was always going to be on Rohit Sharma to see the team through. But when you look at the margin, you can clearly see that it's just a matter of one more partnership, and that early damage which Australian bowlers did, it was always tough to get out of it. I think MS and Rohit did very well to get Indian team out of that hole, which was probably
it was a big hole. It was big damage.
135 run partnership at that stage. Again, the timing of MS's wicket was very crucial. And we again look back and say, okay, what about the review? How to go about the review? Shall teams be conservative about taking those reviews once the umpire's call has been against you? So that's something which I'm sure Indian team will have some discussion around. But all in all, I thought the fast bowlers from Australia, they used the conditions better. Their lengths were far better. They were erring on the fuller side, which created that pressure. And especially with the new ball, we were talking about in between the innings as well. How you approach the innings, whether you're aggressive in your mindset, whether you're giving that much backing to yourself to bowl those lengths which are fuller, which will give you some chance of picking up wickets. Yes, you can look back and say that maybe Virat Kohli he timed that well, could have gone either side, but on the whole, all the bowlers from Australia, fast bowlers particularly, they use the lengths better.
Look at that. Jai Richardson, man of the match winning performance that is. You get 10 overs, 26 runs, 4 wickets. And you're going, okay, I'll take that. 39 dot balls.
Yeah, normally you'd see that with somebody, in modern day cricket, you do see those numbers, but it would be all 10 at one go.
Yeah.
And in his case, he actually only bowled 4 at the top, then he came back and bowled a few in the middle, then towards the end, and in spite of that, he's only gone for 26. So he's had control throughout the innings. He made that major blow at the start, but he carried on. Every time he came back, he got Australia back into the game. So, first, the big hole that you were talking about, he picked up 2 there. Then Dinesh Karthik, I think, was the third that he got. So, when they needed that wicket, that's when he came in, and in spite of that, he still was gone for 26.
And then he got Jadeja as well, which was really sort of the last nail in the coffin because it was just too many to get by that time. Rohit Sharma, of course, fantastic. Talking about Dhoni, comes into bat. We wanted to see him at 5. We wanted to see him come early. Not this early. Like, that's just the way it was, right?
Yeah.
What was it? 4 for 3? Yeah, that's what it was.
Let me
4
check
runs.
my Cricbuzz
Look at your
app.
Cricbuzz app on your mini TV.
I mean,
This is such a big tablet.
Yes.
It's like a little TV you're walking
no,
around
I'm
with.
still trying to figure out how to use
Yeah.
this.
I have to tell you,
I'm
4 for
technology.
Ajay Jadeja and technology is
4
like
for
old
3.
man in the sea, right? But he's getting there. We're getting him there.
I'm trying so hard. I mean, Cricbuzz has been kind enough to give me the app, and I'm trying to figure out how.
Oh,
it
I
works.
thought you were like, they gave me kind enough to give me the tablet, and I was like, one sec, where's mine?
No, just
No, you already got your prize.
I got my prize.
Yeah, that's red table. And it's not here, it's with you.
I have no idea what you're talking about. I deny all such allegations.
So,
We've managed to get the app open now.
yes. What do you want to know?
What were we looking at? Yeah, we
4.
already had that information. It
Yeah.
was 4 for 3.
Three
4
wickets
runs,
for
3
4 runs.
wickets. Yeah. And then Dhoni
Yeah,
came.
okay.
So now
It-
here's
it's-
the thing. We're talking about DRS and we're talking about, you talk about unlucky decisions. This one's a howler. I mean, the ball was completely pitched outside leg stump, right? You're seeing there's no review left. So essentially, both the teams had exhausted their reviews by the 5th over, right? So there you're going for pretty much half the match. You don't have any reviews left. Now, there's got to be some solution. And Zach and me were talking at
Well,
that time.
with reviews to start with, you shouldn't take a chance.
Yeah.
You should be absolutely certain that it's going to go in my favor. At least the percentage should be in your favor.
Yeah.
That's something which is key. Like, if it's a LBW decision, if you've nicked it as a batsman, you've nicked it. There's no way I'm going to be out. Then that scenario, you just have to go for the review. In another scenario, when you know that it's going way missing the stumps, and the right judge of that is the guy standing at the other end.
Yeah.
If he's in the right position to help you with making that decision, this is what you are feeling, and when your partner supports that, then you know that yes, it's worth taking the review. The problem is when you are hopeful and optimistic about taking that review, hoping that it may miss the stumps, is something at times in situations like this can look ugly, and we've seen plenty of instances like that. So as a team, there has to be some kind of a decorum in place with regard to how you go about taking the reviews.
Yeah, because
It's tough to get Raidu to follow any decorum, isn't it?
No, for
I
a
mean, over the
batsman.
years, if you followed him, he has his own way. I heard Mahendra Singh Dhoni talk about him the other day. In Chennai we were, and they were talking about, it was an event for Chennai Super Kings, and he had told his owners, this year we're not going to win Fair Play Awards. He said, why? He says, we have Raidu in our team. Because he makes his own decisions. So.
Yeah.
And I think it was the situation of the game. You'd already lost 2 wickets.
Yeah,
and-
but I mean, look.
But I'm with him.
The repercussions of that are just intense because if Dhoni, I'm saying, I mean,
Yeah.
there's always ifs and buts.
Yeah.
But that's a howler decision, and you're saying if he had stayed, could have got out next ball as well. But it stuck around. There was advantage India at the time, right? With Dhoni and Rohit both there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where Rohit can also then go hammer and tongs because he knows, all right, we've got a set Dhoni over there, maybe playing at a strike rate of 60, but at least he's set and he'll keep one end up.
Yeah, and his strength is this. I mean, we've seen that over the years. Maybe he's slow to start off these days, but when he gets in, then he catches up.
Yeah.
That's never been a problem with him, to catch up with the balls if he hangs around. So at that stage, if he hadn't got out, maybe, we would have got much closer, and as Zach says, margin is very small, maybe we would have got that margin.
No, the
35.
positive from the game has been that, like, when Indian team has put under pressure, when you've lost 3 wickets and you have to rebuild, then he is the right person to rebuild from that stage. Then you're not looking at the other things. Like we were also talking about keeping those wickets hand till the 35th over, create that kind of a platform. That platform was always made. So that's something which was the positive from today's match. That if this kind of situation happens, at that stage you're not looking at the other things. You're not looking at the strike rate. The priority is to get in a position from where you're providing that platform for batsmen to come in, so that you have a chance of winning the match from that situation.
So here's the thing, I mean, we're talking about the DRS decision. Don't think that we're being like, it's sour grapes. Oh, no, all right. No, we're not doing that. We're just genuinely talking about DRS because this one review that the team has, and if you lose it, if one player just goes errant according to plan or thinks it's going to hit, it can really have solid repercussions on the game. And when you're thinking for half the game, there's no DRS, there's no decision for either team, then what's the point of having DRS if half the game, that's a big percentage, half the game has no DRS in play. So really, what do you do? Also, in terms of judging, just one last question on this before we wrap it up. You know, there's umpire's call and the review getting retained. Sometimes, you know, there's hopefulness. There's also thinking, okay, I may be out, but वो umpire's call हो जाएगा, तो at least the review will be retained and मेरे को तसल्ली हो जाएगी कि मैं out ही था. Right? Does that play on your mind? Does that give you a little more leeway to go for?
It does, but DRS review system is also in a way a bit complicated. You know, so when the batsman, when the umpire had given you out, that time even if the ball is just touching the stumps,
you're still out.
You have, and you have lost your review.
Yeah.
So the
No,
chances
if it's
of
touching the stumps, if it's umpire's call, you retain your review.
Okay.
You still go out. You'll retain your review, but you still go out.
Yeah, but if it's
the thing is,
hitting,
you're
then-
out.
Yeah.
So why even hope for, like, what's the point, right? It's a gamble. So unless you're sure, what you're saying is that unless you're sure, you shouldn't put your money on that bet.
Exactly.
Unless you're sure you know what the card is.
Yeah, I mean, I've never been a big fan of DRS or the review system for various reasons. It'll probably take half an hour to explain the whole system, but at the end of the day, it is for the howlers, what they call howlers, as in, you know, you've had a big inside edge and the umpire's given you out, or, you know, you haven't nicked it and he's given you out. For LBWs, I actually feel that you should actually take the DRS out for LBWs, because LBWs always, you're presuming things. Whether as an umpire, when the ball hits a pad, the umpire presumes where the ball would go. And even with the technology that exists today, I may not be 100% sure, but whatever little that I know, that it is not the computer that generates that line. It is presumed where the ball is going.
Yeah.
And we've seen that, you know, people who watch cricket and have enjoyed this game for their lifetime would see, you know, the ball actually pitches right in front, almost a Yorker, and then you suddenly see the ball go in the other direction.
Yeah.
So LBW is one where it'll always be a call like this, unless it's a big inside edge or something.
or a third umpire should be given enough power to overrule the on-field umpire's
Good
call
point.
if it's a howler. You know, so that's something which can be debated about. But when you're talking about, you know, for 45 overs, DRS was not available for both the teams. And in this scenario, if some blatant mistake had made by the umpire, which can have a great impact on the game, then why not? I think third umpire should have that right to overrule decision if it's a horribly gone wrong decision.
Yeah, and it's happened a couple of times to MS Dhoni, but that'll happen when you're batting at 5 or 6. You know, I'm thinking that it's a bit like when you're in an airplane and you're sitting towards the back. When the meal cart comes, you don't have your choice available.
How would
it's
you
like,
know that?
what would you like? Why?
Well, you never sit at the back. You're right in the front, aren't you?
No, front में भी back होता है ना.
Oh, okay.
कभी-कभी 3-4 रो होते हैं ना, तो if you're sitting in the 4th row, you never have your option available.
Oh, I thought because मैंने कहा आपको तो पता ही नहीं 36वें रो में होता क्या, हमसे पूछो.
Sir, हम भी जा चुके हैं, ऐसी क्या बात है? हम भी struggle की हुआ हूँ. But that's what happens. Say, what would you like? I'd like chicken. Sorry, that's not available. What would you like? DRS. Sorry, it's not available.
Not available.
Mr. Raidu ate that up. None for you no more. Okay, well, so DRS is one of those things that we can start talking about it, and we probably will up till the second ODI begins, and really without getting to any conclusions. So we'll just accept the rule for what there is. There was one review. It was taken by Raidu. Dhoni didn't have one available. Bob's your uncle, done and dusted. Moving ahead, of course, let's talk a little more about the Australian bowling, the confidence they will get going into the second ODI. The second ODI, of course, will be happening in Adelaide. Confidence, advantage, Australia bowling. Ajay, you feel after this? Because it was not a big target that the batsmen gave them to play with.
Yeah, I don't think an advantage, I would say, but yes, confidence, yes. Because, you know, you were uncertain. The team with their batting, you could see that. Or with the last year or so, they've been uncertain, whether it's picking players, it's the way they want to play, how they're going to play. But what happens with this, the performance, especially with Jai and Jason, that they will feel confident enough. They'll feel that, you know, this is a side we can beat. Although what they had today is not going to happen every day.
Yeah.
You know, when you're 3 down for 5 runs on the board, then what have you got to lose? You need only 2 balls to go your way and you win the game.
Yeah.
So at the start of the innings, so I think that confidence comes, and that puts added pressure on the batsmen who are batting. Otherwise, you would not see Rohit Sharma and Mahendra Singh Dhoni. They did play slowly, and everybody at home must be wondering, "Arey yaar, how come they are not playing at that pace? If Virat was there, he would have done this, or say somebody else, Shikhar would have played this way." When you are no loss down or one down, there's that freedom that you have, that you've got another few blokes coming behind you. That freedom goes away. You heard this from Virat Kohli. I think it was against Moeen Ali somewhere, where he struggled with, he couldn't keep up the pace, and he came back and said, listen, when the opposition knows that you can't hit him for a six, then he has that confidence to flight that ball.
Yeah.
Because so that little change of confidence happens when you pick up 3 wickets at the top. I don't think it'll happen every time. They're certainly looking good, but I still don't think it's advantage Australia.
Ooh, you still think it's going to be 2-1 to India, the series?
I would look at it that way. I think India would. You may
That's
feel.
GK's prediction, by the way.
Oh, fair enough. I mean, that's why we have 3 people here.
That's why you have 3 people. You keep changing
That's why he's asking you that question. Are you sure? Are you sure India is going to win this series?
Are you confident?
I believe it's still advantage India. Look at what's happened today. Australia's probably had the best day that they're going to have with this bowling attack, unless they bring in another bowler.
Yeah.
This is the best that they've had. India still gets close enough.
Yeah.
India doesn't get, Virat Kohli doesn't get runs, Shikhar Dhawan doesn't get runs, Ambati Raidu. So top 3 out of 4 don't get, they get blobs. You still get close enough. So on an average day, I feel India is still a better side.
Just a word about Peter Siddle and how you saw him do today.
He looked good, and again, he is back in the team with making sure that the young pace battery of Australia gets that guidance also on the field, in real time. That's one. Second, his lengths were better. So that's something which I'm seeing missing from the modern day cricket. You with the field restrictions and all that, bowlers are going on the back foot. They tend to go on the defensive route, which is bowling that back of the length, hip high lengths. But at the same time, if you have enough heart to back yourself to bowl that fuller lengths, you will be going for runs, but your chances of picking wickets has increased. So that's something which experienced bowler like Peter Siddle will know that, and he will back himself. So it's about weighing that percentage and then backing yourself. So that's something which was seen today, and he's specifically in that team to play that role of a bowler who is able to bowl those middle overs.
So he'll be a lot stiffer for sure. He hasn't been this stiff for 4 or 5 years.
That's understandable.
It affects because as you get older, the pressure, and he's not been around for 8 years now. I've been told
8 years. 2010 he played his last one day.
So when you haven't been, this intensity of an international game is totally different.
Do you think?
And when he was chasing a couple of balls, you could see that. It was almost like. But he bowled pretty well.
Do you think he'll be doing the intense recovery schedule that Ashish Nehra employed towards the end of his career?
He'll have to.
That kind?
He'll have to.
Lots of ice, lots of massages.
At that age, you don't have many options. Recovery and rest is something which
Ashish is younger
pay more
than Peter
attention
Siddle
to.
and than all of us. Ashish is younger than everyone.
And it's almost, you look at him, it looks like that. He's playing a similar kind of role.
Yeah.
Like Zach said, he'd be passing on his knowledge to the younger players, and I think not just how to bowl, what he'd probably pass on, and if you have one of these guys go on, because they've looked good today, how to sustain yourself, how to get better over a period of time. So he'll pass on all that knowledge, and that I think Australia needs more than anything else.
Yeah.
Because Australia in the last few years has just gone to another system, because they used to have an old cricketing system, and then Mr. Buchanan came and they started going to stats and they started looking at things differently. The rotation policy started from there. I keep repeating this because if you see the trend, it was West Indies who dominated, then it was Australia who dominated, and all of us have started following Australia now. So we're in that stage where they did all the good things. I hope Indian cricket picks up all the things that went wrong in the last 4 or 5 years with Australia, because somebody who's done well doesn't mean everything about them is right, and we've seen that happening to West Indies, we're seeing it happening to Australia. So 4 years down the line, maybe because that's where we are.
Be wary. You gotta. That's what I'm saying.
And see,
learn from others' mistakes before you make them yourself.
Because there's a commonality between the two teams, I see.
Is it Mr.
Wh-
Buchanan?
No, no.
I don't know. It's one of those names that keeps coming up, doesn't it?
He's down under. far, far away from
See,
that.
West Indies turned it around by what? They were physically fitter than the other teams around in that day. What they actually changed was their physical fitness.
Yeah.
And that's what Australia did. And, that's what we've done. So physical fitness is only one aspect of this game. So
Yeah.
I just hope we don't get stuck to that yo-yo, Momo, and all those.
Momos would sound good right now, huh?
Yeah.
Don't they?
And Momo is something they should stay away from.
Momos, we don't need to stay away from them.
At the end of the day, this is not a physical game.
Yeah.
It is a mental game, and today was a perfect example to see. When you're 3 down, it's the same ball, same batsman, same wicket. Suddenly Rohit Sharma has to play differently for the first 50 balls.
Yeah, true.
So it is a mental game. At the end of the day, always value mental ability in a player more than the physical ability, because Peter Siddle has shown you today.
Beautifully said, actually. And if you look, I mean, you think Virat Kohli after the game also said that, a loss like we should have got it. Absolutely. At, if anything less than 300, you're backing the Indian team to chase that. And he admits that. And he says today's loss actually teaches us what we did wrong and what we need to improve. But when you look at the game, you're just thinking, Jai Richardson was just too good on the day, really. And, you'd have to give that victory to the Australian bowling attack, because they really, with a smallish target, feels strange. But modern day era, 288 is a smallish target. They really managed to defend that and win by 34 runs. All right. So, will there be changes? Now, you're looking at both the squads and you're saying, will there be changes? India, of course, a depleted squad. Will they be getting replacements? And because Hardik Pandya and KL Rahul have been sent home. So, let's look at the squads and see. Australia, you're thinking probably would like to go unchanged. So, therefore, we'll look at India first. You're looking at that. Any bowling change you'd like to make? What would you like to do here?
What are the options? The sixth bowling option maybe will be debated. Dinesh Karthik might make room for Kedar Jadhav, but apart from that, I don't see any other change in this Indian lineup as well, because it's just about someone creating that impact at the top. You would want to give Shikhar another chance. Virat, you never going to drop. So that's something. That's something which created pressure today. When you look at the bowling lineup as well. Khalil is someone who has had an off day, and he's still very early in his career. So that's someone something which you would want to keep his confidence going, rather than shaking that confidence and just making him sit on the bench. But apart from that, I think everyone has played their part. Bhuvneshwar Kumar needs more game time, so you would want to continue with him. So I don't really see changes in the Indian side as well.
You don't see any changes, Ajay, do you?
They shouldn't be making, but whatever little I saw today, Khalil at the end of the innings looked struggling. When he was chasing a couple of balls, so maybe stiffness or fitness or whatever it could be. That's the only change. I would love to see Shiraz. Shiraz is a bowler that I would love to see. I'm not saying replace him, but I would have liked to see him, because if you're talking about building a side and looking at future, he's an exciting prospect. I enjoy him when he comes into bowl. He bowls bowls that heavy ball. So I would like to see him. So maybe in place of Khalil, you'd probably see Shiraz in the next game. Otherwise, there's not much to change.
With this whole number 4 sort of musical chairs that's been happening in the last 2 years, Kedar Jadhav was also in the mix at one point in time for number 4. He's still in the squad, but is it now just etched in stone that Raidu will be playing at 4 and you won't, Kedar's not in the mix for that? So if Kedar comes in, it'll be for Dinesh Karthik, or it'll be for...
He's only had a couple of games after he got that 100 with Rohit. I think it was in Mumbai.
The 100 against England?
In the last series.
West Indies.
So I think he hasn't had a... you can't leave him out for...
No, just asking. Is that... So, why I'm saying is that because the top 3 is set.
Yeah.
Right? So, does this mean a top 3 is set or a top 4 is set?
See, one thing with Indian
nothing
team
is said with Virat
exactly.
Rohit and Shikhar and Virat.
Shikhar also has...
We've seen there has been at least 1 or 2 changes, be it test match or one days.
Yeah.
So that's something which has been constant. So by that logic, you have to keep performing to be claiming your spot in the playing 11. That's one message which has been clear in the last couple of years. So I don't think you can say that yes, Raidu's place is certain, or Dinesh Karthik's place is certain for that matter, or Khalil Ahmed or Ravindra Jadeja or Kuldeep.
Nobody's place is
No.
certain, my friends. You
No,
will only
and-
find out on Tuesday morning.
Yeah, and it's amazing to see that, I'm not trying to say somebody's weaker or stronger, but I'm saying certain T players have their slots. It's the players like poor Dinesh Karthik. Sometimes he is picked to bat at 4. It's the same management, same captain. He was picked to bat at 4. Now he is batting at 6. So somebody who's not the best in your side has to do everything. The best never move from their place. That's the case with not just with Indian cricket, but I think teams around the world. So that is something, I don't know, Kedar Jadhav, as you said, 4, because Karthik was brought into the
Yeah,
side as
true.
4, and then Dhoni's come at 5, so now he's gone to 6. So you never know what will happen next.
That is the reason why Ajay Jadeja always sits in that sofa. He always sits there. We all keep moving around, Sometimes we moved out of the set. Sometimes Zach ki jagah there's Joy, Harsha, but Ajay will always be in that chair. Because the
घर से
strongest,
लेके आता हूँ.
the strongest stays in his position. Excellent. So Australia, just have a quick look at the squad again, because we just want to throw some light on the players who are were not in the 11 today. There's Mitch Marsh, Stanley, Zampa, Ashton Turner, who are there. But you are saying that, well, if it ain't broke, why fix it?
Exactly.
Right? Stick with the same 11.
And Australian team has won after a while, so that they would want to keep the winning combination going, the morale going, so they would want to go in with the same playing 11.
Be a flatter track than this as well in Adelaide. So
Yeah, but
maybe they want to add another.
The 2 one-days that they won last year were both at Adelaide, and the next one is also at Adelaide.
Because
So there's some good Vastu that's happening there for them.
it is one of the, although Sydney is one of the good tracks to bat on, but Adelaide is probably the best track to bat.
Yeah.
Sides are smaller. So if you're a struggling side who's not getting big scores, on a flatter wicket you have a better chance. And your bowling is not as good. So I feel in the test matches it's the other way around, but in the one days, weaker teams get better when it's flat tracks. Whereas in the test matches, on a bad track, a weak team can beat you. But in one days, it's always the other way around. I don't know why.
Okay, well, only one piece of business left now is to give you the winner and the answer of the joy factor question. First, the question, it's not an easy one, never is with Professor Joy. Charles Turner has the best overall bowling figures in a test at the SCG with 12 wickets for 87. Who has the best test figures among left-arm bowlers? Any final guesses, gentlemen? So, I'll say...
It's on the screen!
Oh, there it is. I was too quick, yeah. You guys are just fast fingers in the control room.
I was about to take a wicket here in the studio.
Allan Border. Allan Border did that. 11 wickets against the West Indies in 1989 and also scored 75 with the bat. So he was a bowling all-rounder in this
What
match.
was the
much
hint I
like
gave?
Glenn Maxwell.
Yeah. What was the hint I gave?
You gave the hint.
Has to be a spin bowler.
You gave, has to be a spin
Yeah, at
bowler.
Sydney, they're not
I
many
said it's
fast bowlers who-
Australian. I said it's Australian. I said it's spin bowler. You knew it was left-handed. Who else is there? Who else is there? No, Australian.
Oh,
Australian
Australian.
left-arm spinner.
Michael Clarke.
Michael Clarke got 5 or 6
Michael
against
Clarke,
Michael
2003.
Clarke never
I
took
think
11
so.
wickets.
No,
Not 11
he took
wickets.
4
11
or
wickets
5
we're
in
talking about.
last 4 overs when we lost that test match.
From Australia.
In
Are
He
you
took
talking
3
about
wickets in
Australia?
1 over.
Yeah, but
Michael Clarke.
so just
Yeah.
3 he got or
But
5
never,
in total?
never more than 10 wickets.
3.
That's what he's talking about.
Yeah.
So
That was in Bombay.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, Mumbai. Which I think at that time was Bombay.
yeah,
Doesn't matter. He did the Wankade.
it was still
Just to be
Mumbai.
safe. Yeah, just to be safe.
Home,
All right.
home of the Mumbai Indians, even say.
Home of the Mumbai Indians. नहीं सर वो कभी कभी CCI भी बन जाता है कभी डीवाई पाटिल भी हो जाता है
तो मुंबई इंडियंस का पूरा होम है.
just that stadium where the BCCI headquarters are okay that's where they are and where the Garware stand is right now we know which one
But
it
don't
is
confuse anymore.
just to be safe
And opposite end is Tata stand.
opposite end isn't that the north stand
Yes.
so there's north stand on this side but then this side or that side where are we standing to say that let's just wrap
Let's-
that up
I think
and
it's
tell
been
you
a
the
bad
winner who did we give it the winner of the joy factor
So who's the other
Did we give
one?
it?
Tell us who's the other one
who's the other one who
after
won?
Allan Border.
After Allan Border was the second.
Yeah.
Second का तो question ही नहीं है sir. जितनी information मांगी
So
थी.
you're talking
वो
about
मिली.
that now. Who's the other one?
Who the second? I don't know who the second is. We just know the winner of the joy factor. Yeah. Who got Allan Border correct? Come on, show us quick. Correctly answered Vasuli bhai. Vasuli bhai.
कब भेजो?
Had to be a Mumbai ka Don, right? So we were going to send you a prize, but we're not going to send it क्योंकि आप पहुंच ही जाओगे. You're probably going to reach our doors to get it. save us some shipping money. Thank you, brother Vasuli bhai. So congratulations to you. That's all we have time for today. We, of course, are going to join you on Tuesday morning. That's the 15th. The match is an hour later from today. So we're going to join you at 8:20 a.m., which means we get to sleep an hour more. It's never a bad thing.
Looking forward to that.
Never a bad thing. And looking forward, of course, to seeing all of you. So that's what we do. Big thank you, Mr. Ajay Jadeja, Mr. Zaheer Khan. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you to all of you for watching. From all of us here at Cricbuzz, I'm Gaurav Kapur saying thank you. Bye-bye.